What's going on, guys? Welcome to Total Swans TV. Today is a new video, something a little bit different. I'm just going to quickly review the January transfer window, give my opinions and thoughts on our business, what I feel went really well for us, what I feel like we could have done something better, and just my thoughts. So whether I'm disappointed with it or whether I'm happy with it, these are just my opinions, guys. So we're just going to quickly run through the January transfer window, all the deals coming in and all the deals going out. So obviously going into the January transfer window, I honestly think a lot of Swans fans knew that we were going to be shipping out a lot of players. We needed to find permanent deals for certain players. We needed to find some loan moves to get people game time. We all knew that we were probably at risk of losing one or maybe more of our main key players. With the likes of Borja Baston, obviously running out of contract come the end of the season. Andre Ayew has had a fantastic start to the season for us in the Championship, and obviously a lot of teams would probably be looking at him, but I think he's one of those players that we have said he is not for sale. Let's see what happens in the summer. Obviously, we all know Mike van der Hoorn's contract is running out at the end of the season, so that's another player that the club possibly could have been looking to ship on and get cash in now rather than losing him for nothing in the summer. There was reports that Joe Rodon was being looked at, Bersan Salina was being looked at, but in the press conferences, Steve Cooper pretty much confirmed there's been no official approaches for either player. So, like I say, they looked like that they were staying, and thankfully the window is closed, and we've kept the majority of our players, especially our key players. We have got rid of an awful lot, so we're going to have a look through January now and just pace out how the January transfer window went from start to finish. Obviously a lot of business went on the deadline day, so we're going to look at that a bit more. But just a quick review now, guys, of how January went starting on day one. So January 1st, the day every football fan looks forward to and dreads at the exact same time, it's the January transfer window. So first thing on the 1st of January, first thing in the morning, Swansea City have to return Sam Surridge to Bournemouth. Eddie Howe has recalled him due to some injury concerns and problems that they have there. So he's been put back into their squad. He did really well for us. He scored 7 goals in I think 23 appearances for the Swans. So he did really well. A lot of fans did like Sam. I think he enjoyed playing for us. The system worked quite well for his style. But unfortunately, like I say, Eddie Howe has recalled him. And to be fair to him, he played in midweek, I think it was, in the Cup. Although Bournemouth lost, he did grab a late goal as he came on as a substitute. So, all the best to Sam, and really hope that he does well in the future. A player I'm sure some Swans fans would happily welcome back to the club. But yeah, all the best to him. So obviously Sam going back to Bournemouth, and then a quiet few days for the Swans. No business incoming or outgoing. But then the first week of the January transfer window ended, and Swansea had done their first bit of business of incoming players. The first signing was announced, and it was Ryan Brewster, the highly praised Liverpool youngster. He's 19 years old. He's played under Steve Cooper before in the England under-17s setup, World Cup winner. And Steve Cooper's nothing but praise for the youngster. A lot of Liverpool fans highly rate him. There's a few fans that aren't really bothered by him. Obviously, why would you be at the moment with the attacking trio that you have and then the backup on the bench, and obviously running away with the league. So at the moment, they're not really needing to look that kind of direction. They're the sort of players that they need to be shipping out, and obviously Swansea seemed to be the perfect match for him. Obviously he wanted to link up with Steve Cooper and once again, and he's said in his first interview he's come here to try and play lots of games and score lots of goals to help the club. Exactly what we need, exactly what we want to hear as fans, and that's what we want from a striker coming in, a hungry young striker coming in to play football in the Championship. So just 3 days later, on January 10th, the next man through the door was Chelsea 19-year-old centre-back Mark Guéhi, signing on a loan deal until the end of the season. Again, World Cup winner with Steve Cooper and Ryan Brewster with the England setup. He's a strong lad. I've seen a few clips of him. He dominates in the defence. I think he was the Chelsea under 23s captain. So very promising. Really looking forward to what he can offer. Apparently he can play across the whole back four. So very versatile. Obviously, with some of the moves that happened today, a little bit weak in defence, but apparently Mark can play across the back four, so very happy with that. Another positive signing. So a very good start to the transfer window so far. The next deal was a little bit of a surprise, I think, to a lot of fans, but something that may have been probably overdue and was certainly on the cards. Was Swansea City's #1 goalkeeper, jersey #1, not necessarily #1 choice. Christopher Nordefeld has left on a free transfer to join Turkish side. I can't pronounce that, but yeah, he's joined a Turkish side. So all the best to him out there, obviously, with Freddie Woodman making the #1 spot between the sticks his own. He's really impressed so far this season. Plenty to improve on. He's still a youngster. His long kick distribution and his ball at feet under pressure could certainly do with some improving. But his shot stopping is outstanding. His determination and his fast distribution of the ball for counter attacks is really good. A lot of Swans fans are really happy with Freddie Woodman this season, and the connection between the fans and the player himself is growing. You can see that at the end of every single game. Woodman comes over to the East Stand and just laps up all of the atmosphere. He absolutely loves it before the game and after the game. So credit to him. He's come in, he's done really well, but that has completely ushered out Nordefeld from the #1 choice. He was really unfortunate last season to get injured so early in the season. He was #1 choice goalkeeper for the first time in his Swansea career, so he was very unfortunate to get injured so early on, and then obviously only, I think, made maybe over 10 appearances for the rest of the season. So very unfortunate with that. But again, Chris seemed like a decent guy, a nice guy, so very much wish him the best in the future with his family and his football. 15th of January, coming up to halfway through the transfer window, and another loan player coming in through the doors at the Liberty Stadium. This time Conor Gallagher, who was at the time on loan at Charlton. For a surprise unknown reason was recalled to the Chelsea squad by Frank Lampard. He wasn't there long. I don't think he reattended the Chelsea training grounds or the stadium at all. He was pretty much sent straight down to Swansea. I don't think he had a medical because he was playing for Charlton at the time. Sent straight down to Swansea and signed a loan deal for us till the end of the season. Very, very impressed so far with what he's had to offer. Caught a few glimpses of him on highlights and what he did against us down at the Liberty Stadium. Very impressive. He's got himself 6 goals in total, and he's definitely contributed towards quite a few. It's definitely a blow for Charlton, certainly a gain for the Swans. Lee Bowyer has made his opinions on it quite public, quoting, "I'm disappointed. I didn't see it coming, if I'm honest," which makes it harder to take. And at the end of the day, though, we have to move on. So definitely a loss on Charlton's half, but certainly a massive, massive gain for the Swans. Right, we're halfway through the January transfer window, and so far we've brought in 3 promising young players on loan. We've had 1 player recalled by their parent club, and we've let 1 player go on a free transfer due to being pissed off of lack of game time, which is completely understandable. So that's 1 striker in and 1 out, 1 midfielder in, 1 defender in, and 1 goalkeeper out. Chris would have been on quite a decent wage, so it's very much needed savings and a really good piece of business. Shame we couldn't have got something for him. I hate giving away free players, regardless of how highly rated they are by us or the other club. I hate giving away players for free, especially while they're still in contract. But it's lose him now and get the wages off the books, or lose him in the summer and pay him until then. So a good piece of business. Just disappointed we weren't able to get a transfer fee for Chris at all. So we're halfway through the January transfer window. It's really positive, really strong start to the window. We've brought in some promising players. I've read online and I've heard a few things that the 3 loan deals, Brewster, Mark Gahey and Conor Gallagher, may possibly contain clauses where the loan deal can be extended come the end of the season. Obviously the player has to be happy, the parent club and the loaning club has to be happy with those terms as well. So hopefully they can all hit the ground running and get off to a flying start, contribute towards clean sheets and goals, and lots of points for the Swans. And hopefully if it does work out, we can extend those deals. I know that already Swans fans have taken a liking to Brewster and Gallagher from what we've been able to see from them. So like all 3 of them have worked with Steve Cooper in the past, so it's a really good building block. It's an easy introduction into the squad and a new club surroundings. So really excited to see what they can offer us come the end of the season. So things have been looking good so far. Like I say, Brewster had his debut appearance against Cardiff at the Cardiff City Stadium, was bullied off the ball quite a bit, only had a handful of chances, but played well. Settled into the game quite easy, I think, and I'm really excited to see what he can do. He's going to be really promising for us, and he's going to have a good career. Probably won't be with Liverpool too much, but if he can have a stormer with us, we're a good team for players to come and gain confidence, get game time, score some goals, and then go back to their club and have a good career. So it has happened in the past, and there's no reason why it can't happen with Brewster, Gallagher, and Mark Gahey or any other player that comes in on loan. But Gallagher set Brewster up on Gallagher's debut against Wigan in the 2-1 win at the Liberty Stadium. It was Brewster's first home game and Gallagher's first game for the Swans as well. And fantastic. Gallagher straight from the off was chasing down and closing down the Wigan players. Looked really sharp throughout the game. Brewster played really well, like I say, grabbing himself a goal. So a fantastic start for both of them linking up, and hopefully there's plenty more of that to come. January 20th, disappointing news up for me with a player that left us on that day. Christopher Peterson, who joined the Swans at the start of the season. He was known by Steve Cooper from the Liverpool setup in the youth system, and he's been loaned out to Utrecht in the Dutch league till the end of the season. He's only had 7 games for the Swans so far, and he's really failed to make an impact. But from what we've seen of him, I've kind of been quite impressed, but he's obviously not made a big enough impact to warrant a starting position in a run of games. He's had I think maybe 2 or 3 starting appearances and a few sub appearances. He's contributed quite a bit, but quite clearly not enough to feature often for Steve Cooper. But I think he was liked by a lot of fans. We just wish that he could have produced a bit more in his time here, but he's only on loan, so fingers crossed. I'd personally like to have him back come the end of the season and give him another chance next season with the Swans. Funny enough, he scored in his debut in the Dutch league, so all the best to him. I hope he's going to have a fantastic time out there and come back improved and looking to push for a position in the Swan squad. I want nothing more than players that go out on loan to come back and hopefully push for a first team position. I don't want them to go out on loan, come back and just be a waste of time. Paying them for the time that they were here and then loaning them out and then just letting their contract run out. I absolutely hate that's going to happen with quite a handful of players, which we'll go through in just a bit. So 3 weeks into the transfer window and it's been positive. We've lost no major players. It's been a good month so far. The squad and some fans joined up for a bowling night in Swansea. Brett the Pikey Johns won in the UFC in North Carolina. So it's really turned out to be a really positive month. It's all looking well, and so far Swans are enjoying this month. The next result against Stoke was a disappointing one, a 2-0 loss, 2-0 loss away at the Bet365 Stadium. But one positive from that game is that Joe Rodon made his return from injury, so fingers crossed he can now push for a first team place again. I have no doubt he'll be back in the first team as a given within probably 4 or 5 games. It'll just be a case of him getting match fit now, and then he'll warrant a first team place. But I think he'll get in, he just will, and I'm really excited for it. I love watching Joe play. I think he's really exciting, and I can't wait to, I want him to get back fit as soon as possible, and I can't wait for him to get back into that first team squad. Another positive for this month is Liam Cullen was offered a new contract, playing in the under-23s, and he's absolutely on fire this season, especially in January. He bagged himself a hat-trick the other night, so he's really doing well, and there's a lot of talk now about him pushing for a first-team spot. But yeah, congratulations to him, and really looking forward to what he can do for us. 30th of January, Steve Cooper's final press conference before deadline day and before the Preston game on the weekend. Still yet to lose any key players, which is a massive positive. There's been talks of Borja being linked elsewhere, Andre Ayew and Selena, just talk on the internet really. Nothing solid and substantial, but there's been no official approaches for any of those players. Reiterating that nobody will be coming in unless players leave. And I think most fans are going to go to bed on deadline day eve, hoping that tomorrow nobody loses any key players. And fingers crossed, teams can bring in an addition and strengthen their squads. But deadline day is absolutely crazy, and we're about to get into that now. So, what a day. So transfer deadline day, usually not too much of a crazy day for the Swans. Always some outgoings, usually one or two players coming in. Like I say, this transfer window, we have done our business coming in very early in the window, and that was very pleasing to see. Not something that happens often in Swansea. So midday on transfer deadline day, the first bit of business was Cian Harris leaves to join Bristol Rovers on a free transfer. He was never getting into the first team. Sorry, Cian, but that's just an opinion. You were never getting into the first team with the players that we have there at the moment, the loan players and the first team players. Joe coming back from injury. I just couldn't see it happening. So wish you all the best. So Cian's joined Bristol Rovers. I think in the afternoon, then about 5 o'clock, Declan John was the next one out the door. This time it's just a loan deal to Sunderland until the end of the season. Again, another player that Swans fans wanted to see more of, especially in a few of the league games where some performances probably weren't up to scratch, and Declan John enjoys getting forward. He's very versatile down that left wing, and I certainly would have seen a bit more of him. I'm a little bit gutted he's gone out. Kind of leaves us a little bit weak in the left back position, to be honest. I know Matt Guy can play there as well, but probably preferred as a centre back. So a little bit gutted that Declan John hasn't made more appearances, but all the best to him as well, and hopefully he can come back and improve and push on for a first team position. Boom! Next one out the door. I don't mean to grin too much about this, but Barry Mackay has gone out on loan for the remainder of the season. He's dropped down a division to Fleetwood to play in League One with Fleetwood Town. Kind of disappointed in a sense. Ever since that scream we scored against Bolton, he just hasn't done anything else. Only a handful of appearances as well, not really taking his chance or his opportunity when given. So gutted that it hasn't worked out for another player. But that is only another loan deal. So again, as I say, with all loan players, I really wish them all the best and hope they push on in that team that they're playing in, do really well, and come back to Swansea and not let it be a wasted opportunity. Come back and push on, try and get into that first team, or if it has to happen, seal a move away from the club. But a lot of fans will be very pleased with this news. It's some of the comments in the tweets online. Quite funny, quite sad as well, but a lot of people are happy to see this. And again, there's somebody out the door who is a wage off of the club's bill, and hopefully he'll get some game time down there and we'll push on for a first team position. Okay, so it's almost 11 o'clock on transfer deadline day. The window closes really soon. Still lost no major players. Like I say, we've got rid of some deadwood and some fringe players out on loan. We've got rid of a few players on free transfer, but we've lost no key players at 10 to 11. Will anybody be coming in? Will anybody be leaving? We hoped so. We were told that if players leave, and already many have, that somebody could be coming in, and that nobody would be coming in unless players left. So plenty have gone out, and nobody has come in since obviously Gallagher coming in on loan. So it's been 16 days and we've had nobody come in. We've had a good handful of players leaving, especially already this morning. And reports are coming in that Borja is linked with a move to Villa. Apparently he was going to travel to Preston anyway. Someone cracked a joke online that he travelled on the bus and he was dropped off in Streatham Services on the M5. Could very likely have happened. Can't see why not. But yeah, he went to Villa, he had his medical, he passed that, and he signed for them at, I think, bang on like 11 o'clock. So Borja has joined Villa. The only thing that I'm really disappointed about with this deal is that it's a free transfer. Alright, Borja was running out of contract in the summer, but it's a free transfer. Villa have pretty much, well, they have just adopted his contract. They're going to pay him for the remainder of the season, review it come the end of the season, and if he's impressed or done whatever he can do, if they can get him on a reduced rate if they stay up, then he'll sign on with them. Other than that, he'll probably be released and will go back to Spain to find a club out there. Again, wish him all the best. Gutted that hasn't worked out. It's kind of been a really disappointing and unfortunate time at Swansea for Borja. He joined at an unfortunate time. Swansea squad was probably one of the strongest it's ever been. And we had Fernando Llorente up front. He wasn't going to get up front, in front of Llorente. We had Ayew as well at the time. We just signed him, and that was a deadline day deal. So he was never going to get in as a first team player. But he did, as a first choice player, but he did this season. He was given that opportunity. We brought him back. We paid him the wage. We took the risk, and it paid off for the first month and a half, 2 months. But since September, October time, Borja has been limited with game time. I'm not sure if we were really just trying to keep the guy fit, ready for January to offload him. But we would have liked to have got a transfer fee for that. It's kind of unfortunate, but it is a massive, massive wage off of our bill for a championship team. There's reports he was on 60 grand. Probably only Ayew was on more than him. But a massive, massive load off of the wage bill. But pissed off and disappointed that we didn't get anything for him. But wish Borja all the best. He's a lovely guy. Bumped into him a couple of times, but he is a lovely, lovely guy, and I wish him all the best at his time in Villa. You know, if he gets a handful of goals, helps them stay in the Premier League come the end of the season, signs on with them. A free transfer for Borja Baston, which we paid £16 million for and have loaned out for 2.5 seasons, could possibly be one of the bargains of this January transfer window. There's been no major deals as far as bargains are concerned. Obviously, the Premier League big boys have bought all their players. Not too much crazy business going on, thankfully, this window. But Borja could turn out to be a really good piece of business for Villa and a real bargain. And another one, one more player being announced to be leaving Swansea City on deadline day at 11 o'clock, literally straight after the Borja Baston deal was announced. Tom Carroll has had his contract terminated by mutual consent by the club and the player. Absolutely stupid. That's my opinion on it. Obviously, yeah, another wage off of the bill. He joined us when we were in the Premier League, so he had probably had a decent wage. He's been riding the wave since. I like Tom Carroll, and again, disappointed it hasn't really worked out for him. He's had a good few seasons with us. He has played, I think, like 70, 80 appearances for the Swans, scoring just 1 goal in that time, though. But Tom Carroll's been a really decent player, kind of consistent a few seasons back. But, again, nothing for a player. We're receiving no transfer fee this transfer window. I'm really disappointed with that. We need money. Yeah, we're getting money off of the books in terms of getting rid of wages. These loan deals, I don't think we're getting paid anything for them, as highly unlikely. But no transfer fee received this transfer window. that's absolutely ludicrous in my opinion. We've let some players go who really could have brought us in a couple of £1 million, helped level the books a bit more, quit a bit sooner, get things ready for the summer. But that hasn't happened again. Another wasted opportunity where we've let another player go without receiving a transfer fee. So really disappointed on that. Yeah, very happy to have gotten the wages off the book, but disappointed we haven't received a single transfer fee this window. And shortly after the Tom Carroll and the Borja Baston deal was announced, Jack Evans, who recently signed a contract extension this month, has left the club on loan. He's joined Mansfield Town for the rest of the season. So again, Jack, all the very best to you there, mate, and hope you come back much improved player and very strong to push on for a first team slot. So just a quick recap in review, guys. Players brought in on loan: Brewster, Mark Guéhi and Conor Gallagher. Players brought in on permanent deals: absolutely nobody. Players let go for good: Borja Baston, Tom Carroll, Christopher Norderfeld and Cian Harries. Players loaned out to be returned at the end of the season, fingers crossed: Chris Peterson, Barry Mackay and Declan John. So again, good luck to all the players who departed on loan. Good luck to all the players who have departed for permanent deals. I wish you all the best. No real sour grapes to any of those players. Just disappointed with some of the deals, disappointed that it hasn't worked out for certain players. But that's the kind of thing that happens. They're the kind of chances you take when you buy a player. I'd like to have Peterson and Mackay back come the end of the season, if I'm really honest. Declan John I would like back. I'd like all our loan players to come back and push on. I've already said that earlier in the video. But good luck to them all, and hopefully you come back stronger players. Okay, so here's why I think it's been good business, but a poor transfer window. The negatives for me this transfer window: no transfer fee received. Obviously, I've just gone on about that the last few minutes, but no transfer fee received has been one of the biggest disappointments for me this transfer window. Second point is we've not brought in a single player on a permanent deal, which leaves us very, very vulnerable come the summer with player contracts expiring and loan players returning back to their parent club. So third point is we've left ourselves ridiculously weak as far as squad strength. Preparing for the summer, yeah, I get it. The restructure of the club and all that, and balancing the books, getting players off the books, bringing in sensible transfers, getting rid of deadwood and fringe players. Completely understand it, but we have definitely left ourselves in a very, very weak position going on to the rest of the season, and I think going into the end of the season and into the off season with the window in the summer. The fourth point is I think that we are very much heavily relying on too many young players. Yeah, they're promising. Yeah, it's fantastic to promote youth, and I'm all for it. Swans have done it, and we've had fantastic success with it. I can't knock it. But our first team squad, last year we kind of had no option but to do it. Obviously we lost McBurney and Dan James, but we've obviously again promoted youth. We brought in a few players that are a few years older in on loan at the start of the season. We brought in a couple of permanent players at the start of the season, but I think that our first team regular starting 11 and bench is relying far too heavy on young inexperienced players. And with that, the fifth point is that we have lost awful lot of experience in our players and our squad this transfer window. As I say, Tom Carroll has been with us for a very long time now. Borja Baston, he's an experienced player. All right, he's not the best, the most prolific, but it's experience within the squad and in the dressing room. Cian Harries, not very experienced, but he's had plenty of game time. Norderfeld, experienced player, not an awful lot of game time, but has been in some pretty big dressing rooms with the Swans. And just overall, I think we've lost an awful lot of experience and relying on too much on youth. But that's enough of the negatives now. Straight on to the positives, guys. We have massively reduced on the wage bill today. Just deadline day alone, let alone the rest of the January transfer window. It's got to be said, I think we've probably saved about £100,000 a week this January transfer window. So massive business done by Trevor Birch and like the recruitment team and everybody involved. Huge credit to you all there. A brilliant job, much needed. The second point is we've got rid of some massive wages. We've got rid of some dead wood, some fringe players who are just not going to cut it, not going to get into the first team, not within the structure of what we're looking to do. So massive positives there. Third point is we've actually sent some fringe players and some experienced players who really need game time out on loan to go and seek that. So as I've said, fingers crossed, all those players are successful loans. The players we've got out on loan already are having a great time, and gaining that experience, which is needed to come back and try and push on for a first team place. Fifth point, the loan signings we've made at the start of this January transfer window. As long as they work out, it's definitely going to be the highlight of the transfer window, given the amount of money we've reduced from the wage bill. The players we brought in are going to be a massive boost to this squad, and hopefully, push on for the rest of the season and get the experience that they need while picking up the points that the team need. And the icing on the cake this January transfer window, thank God we did not lose Andre Ayew, Bursan Salina. None of our really main key players. Had we lost Andre Ayew, it would have been an awful end to the season for the Swans. I don't think any Swans fan would have really looked forward to many games. So massive boost. Huge congratulations to everyone involved. If any bids were made, if you rejected them, fantastic work, guys. So happy to keep Andre Ayew on the books. Pay him what you want this season. Sort it out at the end of the season. But thank God Andre Ayew has not left the Swans. So in a positive sense, the January transfer window has been pretty good. The positives are Birch has done well, and he's done what he has said he would do. He's finding ways of reducing the day-to-day running of the club and reducing the wage costs. The January transfer loan has reduced the wage bill a staggering amount, and again, well done to everyone involved in doing that. However, my concern is that we are now very thin in squad depth. The players leaving us to return to their parent clubs at the end of the season. Ben Wilmot, Freddie Woodman, Mark Gahey, Conor Gallagher, Ryan Brewster and Kalulu. Take into account that if we don't go up, the players whose contracts will probably run out come the end of the season and may not get renewed because of wage demands or wanting to be playing elsewhere, other teams wanting them in other divisions. But guys, we could lose Andre Ayew, Mike van der Horn, I believe Joe Roden, Wayne Routledge, Nathan Dyer, Jeff Montero and I think Courtney Baker Richardson. That I believe, I'm not exactly 100% sure of this, but I think that leaves us with Mulder, Bender, Connor Roberts, Cabango, Bidwell, Norton, Grimes, Fulton, Byers, Dander, Selina, Asoro, Peterson, Mackay and John, if they all come back without leaving. That's not a lot of players. That's quite worrying, considering we don't really have any money to spend, and we were told we were going to be bringing a player in this transfer window, had players left. So kind of disappointed on that. Quite worrying as well that come the start of next season. Obviously, we're going to be bringing players in, but that's all our squad is when players leave or don't renew their contracts without selling anybody in that summer transfer window. So that is quite concerning. I know all of this is part and parcel of restructuring the club following relegation from the Premier League. Immediately you've got to find a deficit. You've got to try and replace and find £60 million, which you don't get in revenue fees from the Premier League football. You just don't get it in the Championship. But I feel like we can do really well going into the next couple of seasons. Hopefully the restructure of the club is done in the best interest of the club and the fans and the players and everyone involved, and not just owners wanting to get their money back and wanting to sell the club just to asset strip, that sort of thing. So hopefully we can get through this difficult period of the restructure, but it's going to be loan players, not really spending much money and getting rid of the highest earners. So without promotion back to the Premier League. It's going to be I think a few seasons in the Championship, and a long road if we ever do get back to the Premiership. But it's going to be exciting. It should be interesting, but we'll just see what that brings. So that is it for this video, guys. If you've made it this far through the video, I thank you very much. Leave your thoughts down in the comments, like the video, subscribe if you haven't, guys, and we'll look forward to making the next video. Probably going to be the matchday vlog for the next home game. But guys, thank you very much. All have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.